5 astral projection stories which will shock you. This story is from Venus Valkyrie, and it is terrifying. The Baby Traveler. Meeting our son before he was born. So, this happened about 7 or 8 years ago. My husband and I were laying in bed one night watching television. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a child in the doorway of our bedroom. Thinking it was our only child at the time, I tapped my hubby and said, "Hey, look, but I think Connor is going to try and scare us." He turns and looks, and this child walked into our room. I can't explain it, because it was one of those moments that seemed somehow different. We watched in silence, soon realizing that this child was not our son. He toddles in, head slightly tilted back, curls bouncing and diaper squishing as he goes to the end of our bed. We see his head go down, like he was crouching, and when we got up to look, he was gone. I looked at Chris, my husband, and said, "Did we just see a ghost?" Then, almost as an afterthought, I said, "Well, we know if we have another baby and he has curls that he was here before he was born." We both laugh because we were not trying for another baby at the time. Fascinated, we go to check on our son, and he was fast asleep. A few months later, I'm pregnant. Surprise. So fast forward, and our new baby, Liam, is 2. He toddles into the room, head slightly tilted back, curls bouncing. And it hit me like a bucket of ice water. WTF, this is the baby that came to visit us. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind. Now, on top of that, whenever Liam is staying the night elsewhere, like with my parents, he comes to visit me in my sleep. For example, one time he came and just smiled at me while I was taking a nap. He was in a little red shirt, and his hair was cut short. He left with it long. The next day, I go to pick the kiddos up from mom, and lo and behold, his hair is freshly shorn, and he is wearing a little red shirt. I asked my mom, "Did he wear this yesterday?" And she replies, "Oh yeah, he did. But he insisted on wearing it today, so he is." So I look at him and say, "Did you go see Mama yesterday in Mama's dreams?" He just looked at me. He was 4, with all big blue eyes and serious, and nodded his head. This next story is from Unknown. It explains a rather sinister happening. Visiting a dead friend. My friend died in a violent car accident several years ago. She was only 18 and about to go to college. We weren't very close, and I hadn't thought about her in years until this happened recently. This experience happened when I was lucid dreaming on a regular basis and practicing lucid dreaming. When I woke up, I thought it was just a weird dream. But the more I think about it, I believe I AP'd and visited her in the astral realm. In my dream/AP, I was in a college dorm room filled with other girls. Girls were laying on beds, doing their nails, hair, and other girly college dorm room things. I remember being so confused at why I was there. Suddenly, I saw my dead friend in front of me. Her face was absolutely mortified when she saw me. She looked like she was in extreme shock, her mouth and eyes wide open. I was looking into her eyes so clearly, and I said to her, "Wait a minute, you're dead, but I can see you and feel you." And I then touched her arm. She floated away from me so fast in that moment, and I remember having chills all throughout my body. I was so scared. I even remember thinking, wow, I was just so scared, but I didn't wake up. Then I returned to my body. Could I have visited my friend in the astral realm? Is she stuck there? Did she create a realm where she could live the college experience that she was robbed of in our world? The whole thing boggles my mind. The dream was so vivid and unlike any other lucid dream that I had. I felt completely conscious, like I could think clearly and say exactly what I wanted to. Although looking back, I wish I had said something different to her. This story is from Anne Morales. You need to hear it. The boy always comes to me. Okay, so I know an 11-year-old child in foster care who astral projects himself to me often. He is autistic, extremely talented, extremely knowledgeable, caring, and loving, despite everything he's been through. Never met someone so smart. He also states he goes to heaven often, and has told me about a brother of mine that passed before I was born that nobody knows about. Long story on how we all met. His father is very abusive and gave him a concussion 3 months ago. He's now with a loving foster family that's trying to adopt him. He had a near-death experience, and now he suddenly astral projects himself to where I'm at. I have become a mommy figure to him. Again, super long story that I won't get into, so he'll let me know he's present via text. I have often wondered if my phone is hacked or what, but the stuff he tells me just blows my mind. How does he know? The other day I was a passenger in my husband's car and I had my foot resting on the dash, and he told me to put it down because I could get seriously injured if we get in a car accident. Yesterday I was driving and I passed a homeless man and he told me to make a U-turn and give him the $5 I had in my purse. I made the U-turn and there were 3 homeless people there. He says, the one under the palm trees. He also sees, smells, tastes, and feels things. I had a Starbucks coffee the other day, and he texted me that he wanted some. I had drank the last of it, but nobody but me knew it since it was covered. And then he texted me, it's empty. He also likes to sit on my lap and watch TV. He'll point objects out in the room. I have created a playlist with all of his favorite music on my phone to play in the car when I'm driving around, and he will tell me which songs are playing. I feel like I'm losing my sanity. I could write a book about all the things that have happened. It's a daily occurrence. What is going on? It's like there's a spirit with me often, but he's alive and lives 1,200 miles away. It's insane. This next story is from Mike Marable, who has been communicating with something odd during his travels. Aliens. Have had a few encounters with ETs in the OBE states. They can observe us from the etheric dimension just above the physical. It is the first stage dimension when someone first gets out and can see themselves in bed. I ran into a research and tour group one time. There was a mixture of races. There were 7 or 8 of them. They were surprised to see me. One of them looked humanoid. He was curious how I was able to see them. I explained about OBE. He asked me if I knew about the White Raja. I have concluded that most of people's encounters are in this OBE state, where you can feel sensations like pain. It is almost impossible for people who find themselves in this state to discern between it and the physical without reality testing. Our genetic material is present in our etheric body. People can have marks appear in the physical body from this state too. I had an incident that caused physical bruising and experienced pain. Reality is far stranger than people realize. There are people who have cultivated astral travel who visit other planets. It is not that different, is it? In the dimension vibrationally adjacent to the physical, we can see how other civilizations live on other worlds. Be a tourist ourselves and not be detectable, just as this group was doing with Earth. Many of us who incarnated here in this cycle are not from other star systems. The baby boom post-World War II was an opportunity for a large number to come in at an important time for this planet. There was an important of frequency for Earth coming and an exciting event, a graduation for a planet. It has been written about in a number of texts, the best of which is the Law of One material. This next story is from Taha Nebheru Raj Arnett. It gives hope to those who have lost loved ones. Meeting my deceased dad. Encountering my deceased dad on another planet, out of body. What constellation are we in? We're in the Galileo constellation. It's around 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm tossing and turning. I ultimately lay on my left side and magically fall asleep. I was desperate and briefly thought about taking a melatonin pill, which I haven't taken in several years. Fortunately, I didn't need to. So I'm having this super intense experience in another realm. I seem to be in a mountainous region. As I'm walking, I say to myself, why don't you blast off into the night sky? So I do just that and end up leaving the world. I'm now back in bed and my vibrational frequency is indicative of an imminent projection. It's a feeling that can't be described, only felt. I remain absolutely still, and moments later I begin separating. As I'm separating, I yell out, "Take me to a planet that has lots of stars. I'm a star child, and when I die, I'll return to the stars." Well, sounds romantic. As always, the command enables me to reach escape velocity. LOL, I was an astronaut in a past life. After flying like Superman, I find myself in another world. I look up at the sky, and much to my surprise, I see 2 planes doing aerobatics. One plane in particular caught my eye because it was painted in Captain America colors and even had the Captain America emblem on it. A real beauty. Wish I could find a picture. The other plane was dark red. My first thought was, the Avengers? At one point the pilot did this insane maneuver and I thought he was going to crash into me. A UFO crashed a few yards away from me in another OBE, so anything's possible. But yeah, I was a little startled. After the aerobatic show, I come across a lady and ask, what's the name of this planet? She says, Bommery, or Bommery, just spelling it phonetically here. I then see a young guy and ask him, what constellation are we in? And he says, we're in the Galileo constellation. Never heard of it, but hey, this is a cosmic experience. Moments later, I see a man walking in front of me and ask, what constellation are we in? He turns around and my jaw literally drops. It's my dad. And he says, you were just told that you're in the Galileo constellation. I'm like speechless. He then says, come with me. For those who don't know, my dad passed in 2017, and since then, I've seen him well over 1,000 times. However, I don't typically encounter him on different planets. Out of body, yes, but on alternate Earths. So he shows me this room with lots of advanced technological gadgets. I wasn't really able to follow what he was telling me due to my uncontainable excitement. We then go back outside, and I'm like, dude, ask him something. Couldn't get a question out for the life of me, lol. Experience ended after that. Duration, 1 hour and 30 minutes. Picture of my dad in his prime, lol. He used to say, you're mini-me, so I spent years trying to surpass the physique he had in his prime, and did. Definitely got him beat as far as out-of-body experiences go. I'm like the Michael Jordan of this. He had me beat in the looks department though, and knowledge-wise, lol. But anyway, typical father-son competition. In a prior experience, he asked me, have you been working on your flaws? Working towards self-betterment on a daily basis? Of course, I said yes. He'll always be my superhero. Make sure to subscribe for more real stories like this.